magnificence of God, light of love. In this eternal moment, this now, allow and accept the magnificence of being. Allow and accept the perfection that is within and waiting to be recognized. Allow and accept the perfection of everyone and everything as the divine, the innocence, the beauty, perfection. In this moment, finding the willingness in the heart to surrender this day, all of its movement, all of its identification in any way, surrendering it all into the hands of God, into the magnificence, the healing, the beauty of all love. Your willingness to surrender, to let go, to relinquish ownership of all that was thought about and that seemed to be separate in any way. Just the willingness to surrender. In this moment, the acceptance of humanity as your heart, the acceptance of humanity's perfection that is within every form. Accepting. And finding the willingness of the heart to surrender all meaning that has been given in separation, surrendering all the meaning of this day into the hands of love, and accepting the grace and blessings of love's perfection. Letting this grace and blessing melt into this day. Everything that may have been held as a thought of differences and problems of any kind, concerns of any kind, fears of any kind, surrender, relinquish. Accepting in this moment that the grace of love, the divine healing of all love is here, present, is always available. And the power of your yes opens that awareness. In this moment, breathing fully and deeply, inviting sacred breath to fill every cell, inviting sacred breath to open every molecule in the recognition of love. And breathing as deeply and as fully as possible, inviting the relaxation and resting of the body, surrendering the doer into the hands of God. And just willing to observe the movement of love into every energy body. Breathing into and through the entire body and all the energy bodies. Inviting the lungs to fill with love. Allowing the lungs to be the sails of your heart, moving forward into love, into remembering. Breathing into the throat, surrendering the throat, the neck, into the hands of God. And shoulders surrendered, and breathing into the arms and hands. Breathing into the spine, allowing everything to move easily and effortlessly as the truth of God. Willing to surrender the body, the identification of a separate self, to be used to remember love, to express love, to anoint with love. And breathing into the heart, inviting the heart to come forward, open and available, undefended. Breathing. And affirming that there is nothing to defend, nothing to protect. And breathing into the belly, surrendering all the organs into the hands of God. Surrendering the hips and thighs, knees, calves, ankles, and feet, all surrendered into love. And surrendering the emotional body into the hands of God, where in the past the emotional body may have been used by the mind, by fear, that expressed concern and caution and suspicion. Now everything's surrendered, surrendering the emotional body into the hands of God to be used to express love, peace, and harmony. Everything's surrendered. Affirming in this moment the willingness to be present, staying in awareness, and yet resting in peace and harmony. Focusing on the truth of love, focusing on the harmony of love, on the promise of eternal life. And affirming as you continue to breathe that here in the infinite circle of love we are one. Only love exists. This sanctuary is filled with love. This universe is all of love. There is only one presence here. It is the life force of God. And within this life force we live and move and breathe as one. The acceptance of this divine life force. One heart and one breath, remembering love. Allowing this prayer to vibrate through your heart in the acceptance of love. Feel your tenderness. I feel your tenderness. I feel the tenderness of your ever-loving hand. I feel the tenderness. I feel the tenderness. I feel the tenderness from deep within. I feel the mercy, Lord. I feel the mercy, Lord. I feel the mercy, Lord, of your ever-loving hand. I feel the mercy, Lord. I feel the mercy, Lord. I feel the mercy, Lord, from deep within. I see your beauty, Lord. I see your beauty, Lord. I see your beauty, Lord, of your ever-loving hand. I see the beauty, Lord. I see the beauty, Lord. I see the beauty, Lord, from deep within. I sense the truth, O Lord. I sense the truth, O Lord. I sense the truth, O Lord, of your ever-loving hand. I sense the truth, O Lord. I sense the truth, O Lord. I sense the truth, O Lord, from deep within. I called to love. I called to love. And my mother answered. And I remembered. I am humble, I am humble, I am humble as a child of God. My mother shows me the way to remember forever, 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 forever the truth of love. I am the child of the truth and of the universal power of love. I am one with all creation, forever, 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 in the truth of love. Llame las más alturas a mi llamar, mi esplendor. Soy humildade, soy humildade, soy humildade, filho sei. A minha mãe que me ensinou para sempre desluvar, para sempre, para sempre, para sempre onde está. Sou filho da verdade, poder universal, para sempre, para sempre, para sempre acreditar. Forever, forever, forever. Eternally, beyond comprehension, beyond understanding, and yet trusting, trusting. Called to the heights of the glory of love. The Divine Mother showed me the way and recognized that it was through humility, through the letting go of all identity, that I could remember love. I willingly said yes, forever, forever. I'm the child of this truth. I'm the child of the universal power of love. To accept this, just to accept. Nothing that has to be figured out in any way, just accept it, and the power of love transforms. Yes to love. Yes of eternal life. So as Hafiz visits again and again and again, forever, forever, eternally, whispering, with all divine masters whispering, love, love, love. It tried to prepare me. The clear night sky tried to prepare me for what it knew would someday happen. It began to show me even deeper aspects of its splendor, and then one evening just directly asked, "Will you be able to withstand your own magnificence?" I thought I was just hearing things. Until a spring orchard I was passing my days with, at the height of its glory, burst into song. The song about every beloved's destiny to burn with radiance. Still, I felt my ears were playing tricks on me, until the morning came when God tore apart my chest, needing more room to bloom inside. I began to roll through the streets in ecstasy. Everyone thought I was crazy. Everyone someday will see how blessed I was. You will. The clear night sky tried to prepare me for what it knew would someday happen. Love is in every moment trying to prepare you, coaxing you, calling to you to just accept. Will you be able to withstand your own magnificence? In the world of the belief of separation. This is what everyone is afraid of. To withstand your own magnificence. To accept the breaking open of the heart and letting the heart burst into oneness. I thought I was just hearing things bursting into song. The doubt, the habit of doubt that wants to deny that you are so worthy, that you are so loved beyond comprehension, and that all of creation is constantly whispering to you, is constantly calling to you to remember. Why is it that every master calls every beloved in the same way? To come into the stillness, to just rest the mind, rest and allow, so that the calling, the song of love can be heard. And the invitation to accept the magnificence. Everything in this world is upside down. It's just upside down. I am humble, I am humble, I am humble in the truth of love. It is not arrogance to accept your magnificence. It is not arrogance to accept the beauty and perfection of creation. It is arrogant to deny the beauty and perfection of your divine self. Accept. That's all. It was such a beautiful teaching from Jesus that said, if you went to church and everyone was praising God, could you stand up and say, oh, thank you for praising the truth of my magnificence? Not in arrogance, in humility, an acceptance of everyone's beauty, everyone's perfection that is waiting to be seen through the identity of what's been made in separation. If you say to someone you're afraid of love, everyone denies it. No, I'm not afraid of love. I'm afraid of the world. But everyone is walking in the fear of love and wanting to protect the world, to keep it as you know it to be. There is no sacrifice in accepting love. That is the lie. That is the lie that everyone has agreed with. That you would be losing. That you would lose control. That you would lose what you think you know. You would be losing what is nothing. There is nothing to lose and everything to gain. Everything in the accepting of love. Still, I felt my ears were playing tricks on me until the morning came when God tore apart my chest, needing more room for love to bloom. Everything, when you have found your yes to remember love, everything becomes a divine element of grace that is calling you to awaken. Everything. To release the doubt, the fear that says, I'm afraid of the form that things are taking. I'm afraid of what it all means. But that everything, once you have said yes, is being so divinely orchestrated for healing, for remembering, and to keep sinking into that trust. Every beloved that has walked the journey of remembering has walked as Hafiz has walked, believing that his ears were playing tricks on him, believing that what he heard couldn't possibly be true, and finally having to recognize that God was tearing apart his chest to make more room for love. To trust the divine. To trust that there is a power of love that is beautifully, delicately transforming and unraveling whatever is offered. There was a beloved who wrote and asked a question that said, why doesn't God just heal this misery? When you believe in misery, when you believe in your evidence, you hold on to it. It's the surrender, the willingness to not believe in it anymore that allows the healing. The willingness that it's not true. And that only love is real. Only the beauty of God is real. Only harmony and peace are real. The willingness to surrender what you've known. I reminded a beloved today, and I remind every beloved in that moment, that there has not been an original thought, an original knowing from anyone. That every beloved believes the same upside down identity. It can look millions of different ways, but it's all the same. The belief that you are unworthy of love, and that you have to figure something out here. That there is something for you to do to prove your worth. And that you have to do it yourself. Because that is the agreement. We are separate, and we have to prove our worth. But this agreement has no validity. It is not of God. It's just the erroneous identity of separation that says, I have to battle. I have to prove something. And it always seems just out of reach what it is that you have to prove. Always just elusive enough, but you think you're going to find it soon. What Hafiz speaks and offers in this prayer, in this poem, is that he kept hearing the calling to love, but he kept stepping into doubt until he was ready to really listen, until he was really ready to accept. Could it be possible that the clear night sky tried to prepare him? That the divine intelligence of creation through the clear night sky was his friend, was his truth, and was trying to prepare him? And that this clear night sky began to show me even deeper aspects of its splendor, because he stopped and he listened and he paid attention and he accepted. He accepted what love was trying to offer. The belief is that everyone is an island, that everyone is walking in a world that you can identify. And just underneath the surface is the beauty and the glory of creation moving and wanting to find and get your attention. Everywhere there is the divine element of love, wanting to guide you, wanting to show you the way. And all we have to do is accept and trust and open to being shown. It is a place of humility. to be shown a new way, that you're not in charge of. The you that you've known is not in charge of this divine, splendid, exquisite journey of love. This is the letting go. The letting go and accepting, so that you can hear the question, will you be able to withstand your own magnificence? Creation, love, is trying to prepare you to accept your own magnificence. To accept your own magnificence is to let go of what you know. Because what you know says there is a problem. What you know says there are dangers. What you know says there is death. What you know says there is separation. Will you be able to accept your own magnificence? And what are you waiting for? Accept it. Don't make anything out of it, out of the world, but just accepting this beauty and perfection that is already here and is already the truth within. You have done nothing. You can do nothing that can ever change this beauty and magnificence of God that you are. Completely innocent, completely, eternally the truth of God. In the prayer that I sang, forever, 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 forever. You could continue to chant forever, 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 forever. And it would never touch the eternal beauty and perfection that you are. Can you accept it? It seems so simple to just accept. No, it's got to be much more complicated than that. That's what the ego wants to establish, and has, to a certain extent, established this, that everything is very complicated. That life is complicated, confusing. The world that has been made in the belief of separation is extremely confusing. It's by its nature confusing. It's meant to look confusing and to feel confusing. The more confusing it is in perception, the more doubt, the more fear. And through the fear, the belief is, I can figure this out and figure out the confusion. But you never can figure out confusion, because confusion just keeps finding new ways to be confusing. The way of healing is to recognize that the confusion has no purpose other than to be confusing. There's no end to the confusion except by coming back into the stillness, coming back into the heart, resting, allowing, trusting, accepting. Show me the way. Let me hear the sound, the song of love's direction. Let me hear the song of radiance. Let me listen to the messages that are constantly coming from the divine, that are here. This is not a special gift. This is not available to some and not available to others. There is no cruelty in God. There is no limitation in God. There's nothing being held from anyone. Do we all hear the song of love in the same way? No. Doesn't matter. It's there waiting to be heard. And when God comes and breaks open your chest to make more room for love, invite the breaking. Invite. Find your yes. By the time your heart will be broken open and your chest will be broken open, you will be prepared because you will have been willing to accept the magnificence. And you will have said yes, whatever it takes, I'm willing. I'm willing to have everything burst open. I'm willing to disintegrate into the stars. I'm willing to have everything burst and open and bleed into the oneness. Because it's only love. And God is calling to remember the magnificence, the beauty, the perfection that is within, waiting to be accepted. There is no healing in this world of something that is wrong with you. There is nothing wrong with you. Love has not altered. There is nothing wrong. There is only love. All the belief that there is something wrong with you and wrong with your life is a delusional state, a dream, a mistaken identity that has no truth. But how can an identity figure this out? It's not possible. This is the yes. Just the yes. I will step out of what I know and let love lead. I will just surrender what the mind is making up and let the heart lead. I will accept the truth of God that is constantly expressing your perfection. The truth of God is expressing your perfection in every flower. The truth of God is expressing your perfection in the movement of the wind, in the stars that appear, in the clouds that move, in the power of the river. That is the expression of your magnificence, of your perfection. The mind cannot understand this. The mind can't even conceptualize that this is possible. Because the mind is saying, I believe in limitation. I believe in the world that I see, the world that I have known, the world that I have battled with. There is no battle in God. The ego identity will throw up roadblock after roadblock after roadblock until there is a level of trust available. The roadblocks will seem valid. Until you're no longer willing to join the doubt. How is it that you would join the doubt when it seems that doubt has validity? There's an agreement in all of humanity, in the belief of separation, that says doubt is valid. Doubt is a defense system. If you're willing to step deeper into trust, the trust of all the divine teachings that the masters have brought, every master that is speaking, every master that has offered love is offering the same love. It is the love of all existence. Is it a leap of faith to trust in a teaching, in an offering that you don't understand and that you don't know if it's true or not? Every beloved has to take that leap of faith. Every beloved does. I've tried this world. I have tried to make sense out of it. I've tried to find something in it, but have never found peace. This is the coming to awareness. The awareness that you can keep going around in the same circle and nothing is ever going to really change of what is being believed in the belief of separation. To surrender is not to lose. To surrender is to be awakened into the truth of love. It's to recognize and accept that peace and harmony, ease, joy is the natural state forever. Forever, forever, forever. To accept. How tired is everyone? The tiredness that the world feels, the tiredness of humanity, is the tiredness of battle, the tiredness of time, the belief in time, the tiredness of doubt, the tiredness of suspicion, the tiredness of fear. I have given a mantra to many beloveds. The mantra is, I have nothing to lose. I have nothing to lose. To accept wholeness. I have nothing to lose. To accept the magnificence of love. I have nothing to lose. To accept that I've been mistaken. The pain of wanting to be right about what you think you know about what everything means is hell. That's all that it is. It's what is described as hell. You aren't going to hell. It's the recognition that to deny the truth and to preserve and defend a life of battle and suffering is hell. To accept that it is not God's will for you to suffer, ever, ever, that there is no suffering in love, there is no suffering in God. It is so upside down to defend suffering. So upside down. And yet, walking in the journey, I was defending suffering. And I defended it strongly. I was right to suffer. I was right. What I was not able to see in that suffering was that I believed that I had to suffer to be cleansed, that I had to suffer for my darkness, that I had to suffer to atone. This was the madness. This was the insanity of separation. This was not of God. And yet, the strength of it, which was really weakness, I battled for that. I battled for the right to suffer. But this is insanity. Earlier in the journey, I was always terrified that I was insane. And then, in the healing journey of love, I recognized I was insane. It was insanity. It wasn't true, and that's what made it insanity. Because I was promised. I was promised that only love was real, and that God's will was peace and joy and love, and that there was only the magnificence of love, and there was only innocence. Accepting and listening just like Hafiz, and joyfully accepting the breaking open of the heart to make more room for love. Accepting. It's so easy. The mind that is saying, no, that's really hard. It's complicated. There's no complication in love. To accept the truth in every moment. If you are believing that something is complicated, if you are believing that something is hard, if you are believing that something is disturbing or upsetting or confusing, surrender it. Surrender it into love. And accept a new way. Listen. Listen and hear the glory burst into song from the spring orchard. Listen to the song of the orchard that is wanting to tell you of the magnificence, of the radiance that you are. The spring orchard is wanting to tell you. The truth of every beloved is wanting to tell you. Every situation is wanting to be surrendered into the radiance of love. In every moment of the day, within time, every beloved is holding a world. It's holding a life, an identity, a kingdom that's been self-made. A kingdom that says, I am separate. A kingdom that says, I am without. A kingdom that says, I will die. And in every day and every moment, you have within you a will, a little willingness, a yes, that you can surrender each moment of that day into the hands of God to be transformed. Transformed out of a belief of separation, out of an identity of darkness, out of a belief of limitation, into the light. This is the power within you. The power within you is not to figure out what the healing is going to look like or how it will transform, but just the yes, the willingness to surrender, to take what you have made in the belief of being separate and surrender it into the hands of God and just saying, yes, transform this. Transform this so that I can hear the song of love. I surrender my day. I surrender this situation. I surrender this relationship. I surrender what I think I know. I surrender it. I don't want this separate little kingdom anymore. I want to come home. I want to come home to the remembrance, to the recognition of magnificence that every master is promising. And trusting, no longer doubting, that everything can be transformed. That there are no difficulties that are beyond the power of love's healing. There is not a difficulty that has ever been perceived in this world that is beyond the power of love's healing. Nothing. Nothing. Because everything that is being healed is actually just smoke and mirrors. It isn't solid. It isn't powerful. It isn't really in the battle with love. It's nothing. The mind can't understand that it's nothing, but it is nothing because it is not the truth of love. It's just illusion. It's just a dream state, most of the time a nightmare state that says, I'm in battle. And just like the state that you sleep in when you have a nightmare, you wake up from the nightmare, you're still believing in it even after the light's been turned on. You can't even let it go then because it seems so real, so accurate. It isn't accurate. It isn't true. Every beloved in waking up recognizes exactly the same thing. In waking up, every beloved recognizes, oh, nothing happened. It was a dream. It was a delusional state. Doesn't mean anything. Every beloved in waking up recognizes they never went anywhere, and that there is no me that is doing anything. Nothing's happening. It's just all love. Magnificence. The heart of God. Nothing else is true but to accept it. To accept. I began to roll through the streets in ecstasy. Everyone thought I was crazy. This does occur. Absolutely. I have seen the faces of beloveds as I roll down the street in ecstasy in remembering. And the fear. She's really crazy. She's lost her mind. Yeah. It's true. The mind was gone. Rolling down the street in ecstasy. And the fear of ego saying, ooh, that's a scary place. Not realizing it's all upside down. The scary place is the place of the belief of limitation. It's not insane to be in love. It's insane to believe you're not love. It's insane to believe that you came here to suffer and to prove something. You can roll down the street in ecstasy after God has thrown open your heart and made room. It doesn't say here, and I did surgery on myself and figured it out, how to make more room. It says, and it's the truth, I gave myself. I gave the self. I surrendered. I relinquished. I offered. I melted. And the I that indicates a separate self, melts into the I am, the divine. Why not now? The only reason it's not now is because the mind is saying, no, I have to figure this out. I have to work on this. In the moment of awakening, being pulled out of identity, there was a thought that said, I haven't done enough. I haven't done enough spiritually. And all of creation laughed. What do you possibly think there is to do? There's nothing to do. In the healing element of love, we walk on a bridge. We walk on the bridge, stepping out of the illusion, stepping out of the erroneous identity of battle and lack and separation. And we walk on the bridge with willingness, with our yes. And as we walk on the bridge, God, the divine power of love, holds you right off the bridge. Just show up. Just step onto the bridge. The willingness to surrender. The willingness to let go of what you think you know. And accept humbly, I don't know anything. I don't know what anything means. I don't know what anything should look like. I don't know anything. I don't know. And in that sweet, sweet surrender, love takes you. Because the knowing is no longer the shield that is being used to say, I am separate. Why can't God just go beyond so that you don't have to step onto the bridge and just fix it all? If we did not have free will, we would be a puppet. as we are a puppet to the ego identity. Freely saying yes to love is accepting what is. But there is freedom in all creation. Nothing is forced in love. Nothing is a slave of love. To choose love, to freely say yes, is to let go of a wanting of a separate self, the wanting of a separate life. To the world, the yearning, the longing, the desire to come home looks insane. By the world, this longing, this yearning, this desire, it's held as eccentric, as crazy, walking in ecstasy, fringe, not normal. The happiness of no longer being normal. The joy of being thought of as crazy. Because in that realization, it's, if the world thinks I'm crazy, I'm just right at the door. Just waiting to be plucked off the bridge. Available. Will the ego still say, wait, I think there's something left I still have to do? Probably. Just don't pay any attention. Just learn to ignore the voice of doubt. Learn to ignore the voice of caution. Learn to ignore the voice of fear. Shine the light on it and laugh. Ha! I'm not buying it this time. I'm putting my faith and my trust and my devotion to love, to the power of love, trusting the divine alchemy of love will heal what I surrender. The power of love will heal what I surrender. It's promised, and I accept it. I choose love. This is the journey. Choosing love. Choosing harmony. In every moment of every day, there is a choice. To choose fear. To choose the habit. It is a habit. You can feel it. You can feel the habit of it. It's what you know. That's what makes it a habit. It's like, I know that. So the willingness to shake out of the trance and question the habit. Well, this is how I've always talked. This is how I've always done these things. This is my day. This is how I live. This is how I do things. I'm opening to the power of God. Letting go of that always do things, that habit. Show me a new way. Show me the way of love. Surrender all my habits, all what I've made up that I've held as who I think I am, who I know I am. Surrendering it all. And in divine prayer, the prayer within, the prayer of coming into the stillness within and meeting the divine that is waiting within. Praying, letting silence be the prayer, the stillness be the prayer. Show me the way. And let me hold every beloved in this silent stillness of love. Show me the way. I don't know, I haven't walked this way before. Show me the way. Even letting the song of love be the prayer of the moment. I surrender, always loving you. I surrender, always trusting you. The sweetness of your prayer. Always received, always heard. Before the words are even formed within your mind, the prayer is received. In the willingness to just let go of time, to let go of the belief of death, to accept I cannot die. I accept eternal life right here, right now, and I have no idea how that will express itself, but I'm saying yes. Yes, yes, yes. There was a beloved who asked, why can't God just change my life? It's always remembering that when you make something in the belief of separation, you can choose to keep it and keep your life separate, or you can choose to surrender it. And as you surrender it, you're opening the door. You're inviting transformation. Is there a call to patience in the transformation? Absolutely. To remember that patience is the manifestation of trust. And to rest in the patience that everything is divinely orchestrated and not to worry about how things unfold. To resist the temptation of wanting to take it back and be in charge again, because that's what the great addiction is. The great addiction is I have to be in control in order to be safe, when the healing is in letting go of that belief that there is anything to control and letting the flow of love take everything and move everything. because you are so loved, because you are love itself, because you cannot leave your source, and love serves love. To accept that you are love and nothing else. To accept the divine, exquisite beauty, the magnificence. To release and surrender the belief in difficulty. When the mind wants to conjure up difficulty, the willingness to say, not this time, not this time. I'm turning to the truth of love. I'm focusing on the truth and the light. I will focus my attention where it is truly helpful, on the beauty and the purity and the truth of creation. I refuse the belief of difficulty. I deny its validity. I surrender the addiction to littleness. I surrender the addiction to battle. I accept wholeness and beauty and light. Healing is here now. Healing is here. Transformation is here. Light is here. Love is here. When I call this the divine hospital, it's the divine of God. The words of love, healing, transforming, and allowing that you're willing for the divine physician to transform all that's been made up. And you can just rest. You can just relax and accept that love, that healing love. God opened the heart to make room for love. Open the chest to make room for love. That's the divine hospital. The transformation of remembering that everything is already the divine right here, right now. The journey is a journey without distance because you've never left. Never. There's nothing to leave. There's only love. You can believe that you wandered off. You can believe that you made a whole world of difficulty, of pain and suffering. But love is calling you to remember that That was the dream. It was never true of you. And deep within you, you're aware of it. Deep within you, there is that awareness of love. And it's just connecting back into source where you thought you left. It's just reconnecting that awareness, accepting love. In this moment, accept the healing of this moment. Just accept it. Nothing that you have to do about it, with it. Just resting and accepting that you are so loved because you are that divine magnificence. And just the willingness to hold that tenderly in your heart. Nothing for you to do with it, nothing for you to have to shake it off or get back to normal. Allow the divine transformation to just keep bubbling within. There is a transformational fever of love. Just give yourself to it and allow and forgive. Forgive yourself for the false identity that you've held. Forgive yourself for the mistaken world that you believed in. Accepting peace and harmony and wanting to just let the heart extend itself into the world you thought you made. Extending your love into the oneness with all creation. Just offer. As we close, the willingness to hold each other tenderly, quietly, in love, honoring the tenderness, honoring the stillness of the heart, quietly, lovingly, trusting the moment, trusting the power of love in this moment.